welcome to Red Devils United. My name is John, and we're here to talk about the match Man United v Chelsea. This is a big game early on in the season, and both teams have had indifferent form. But recently United's form is way up there. I'm going to talk about the Man United and Chelsea game, obviously. I also want to talk about the previous games we've had, the Spurs game. We'll have a quick discussion on that, and then obviously we'll talk a little bit about the Newcastle game and even the performance against PSG, because I think it all leads up to today's game and what will hopefully be a really good performance. Other things we're going to discuss will be predictions for this weekend's results, minus City, which I would have got wrong. City drew 1-1. Massive shock, but in this season, not really, because there have been shocks everywhere. So it's again, we're going to have predictions, and during the conversation on the predictions, we will look at some of the past shocking results that have happened over the first kind of 4 or 5 games of the season. So it's unbelievable results that have come along. We will also have the top 7 things to look out for in the game, and we'll be looking at the lineups. And when I say I mean we, because I'm going to be talking and bringing in my best friend in the whole world, Deco. He's going to join us in a little bit to discuss the lineups. He'll also give maybe his predictions, and we can compare with mine after the weekend's results, see who is closer, and also just talk again about the Chelsea game, the United game, and how we would like it to go, and how we think it may pan out for ourselves. So really looking forward to that. So I mean, without further ado, I'm going to bring in Deco. Just bear with me now. I have 2 keyboards, but there's Deco with me now. Deco, how are you doing?
You alright? How's it going?
Very good, very good. So Deco, just like Truman, you're live to the whole world.
With the world.
So welcome to Red Devils United. You're going to be joining us a lot over, what I hope will be a few years, but you'll absolutely be joining us as much as humanly possible, and we'll get other people on. There's a few people, Deco, from my football team, Liverpool fans, that want to come on, so that should make for some interesting conversations.
I think that'd be good to get different opinions on, or different supporters on as well. So if you can get some Liverpool supporters on, I think it'd be a good thing. Yeah,
there'd be a bit of banter, probably a bit of insults flying back and forth, but it should be really, really good. I was actually meant to get myself a beer and I didn't, so I'm gonna have to do it out until the match starts. Some shocking stuff, but looking at the weekend ahead, okay. We have some things coming on. Bear with me. What I want to look at is the 11 that we're going to see. Now, I've just brought up an image. Deco, you can't see this, but it's a predicted United lineup, right? I'm going to read this lineup. This is not the lineup I would pick, but the formation is very, very similar to that of the game against PSG. So the predicted lineup we're looking at, you got De Gea in goal, as a back 3 of Shaw, Maguire and Lindelof, with 2 fullback wingbacks, Telles, the new signing from Porto, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But then you've got the midfield combination of McTominay and Van der Beek, with a Bruno on the number 10 and a front 2 of Rashford and Greenwood. Okay, so similar formation to what we did against PSG. I actually think we will play the same formation as we did against PSG. Did you manage to catch that game?
Yeah, I caught most of it. Yeah, I came into it late, a bit rushed off my feet that day, but I caught most of it.
Yeah, I mean, solid result, but the performance I was really, really happy with. I mean, PSG were very poor. After about 10 or 15 minutes, their passing was sloppy. They weren't that strong on the ball. They were getting intercepted. Neymar kept getting his pocket picked every 10 minutes. But I think a lot of that had to do with United closing really, really quickly. So I think the formation really worked against a very good PSG team. This is a PSG team that finished runners-up in the Champions League last year, so they're not a bad side.
No, the last time we played them, like it was a bit of a struggle, and we just got lucky at the end with a handball and penalty, didn't we? So
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
this
one
time
hundred
we played
percent.
them, it just looked like we controlled the game the whole time. It
Yeah.
was a bit in the second half where they did, obviously when they got the goal and they came back a bit, seemed like they were coming back into it, but we didn't look too troubled at all the whole game.
No, I mean, you're 100% right. The last time we played them and we got a win, a famous win that knocked them out of the Champions League, we were by far the second best team in that match. And it was that penalty decision that went for us that really, really, really gave us a chance. You know, winning us the game. The difference we had as the result in Tuesday's match was phenomenal. But the performance, we were way better than the PSG. We were much the better side and ultimately deserved the goal. If it wasn't for some wasteful passes and finishing, we probably should have won maybe 3 or 4-1, not just 2-1.
Yeah, I thought Bruno would have scored in that last chance he had. Instead, he tried squaring it off, like making the easy pass. But I just thought he'd have just taken that and finished it really easy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And then there was that time Rashford got forward, and he tried to square the ball and was like just the worst pass I've ever seen. I actually think Rashford had a very poor game against PSG, but he came good in the last kind of 15 minutes with his goal. But his passing was awful for a large portion of that match.
Yeah, I think I've found that for a lot of the teams sometimes, when we have the ball and you think we should be keeping control and there shouldn't be any issues, and then like we try and make a pass and it just goes astray, or it's too hard, or like we're a bit kind of shaky at the back when we're trying to just play out, and it's just a bit kind of scary sometimes when you're watching United play. You think we should be okay, and then just one mistake, or like somebody tries to run control and just loses it and gives it away again. It's something we need to work on, I think.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Just here, gonna bring up the lineup function that I want to use. Now, just bear with me. Okay, so we're gonna just lose Deco's visibility for a second. And take a look at the lineup.
Is this who you think should be starting, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Here we go. So, I have in my lineup what I'm looking at here, and I'm just going to get that's a little bit of difficult there. I'm going to have to work on bringing you in and having the lineup then with that. Just bear with me because it'll only take a couple of seconds, but I think there may be a way to do it so that we get the best out of this. One moment. No, unfortunately, I'm going to just leave you off for a second and we'll just get to the lineup.
It just blocked me out, it's cool.
Yeah. And here we go. So, I'm looking at Tellez left full, okay? And I'm thinking if we do play a back five, we're going to have Maguire. One moment. Now, we're going to have okay. Bear with me because this is actually not working at the moment. Okay, so Getting a lot of dead air because...
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I'll have to use this one. So I'm going to have Tellez at the left full, Maguire be centre half, actually have Tunzabi beside him, and bring in Lindelof to play in that back three. So Lindelof, Maguire centre, Tunzabi to the right, and then Tellez and Aaron Bissaka up the flanks. A midfield then of Fred and McTominay, with Fernandes ahead of them in the diamond, and then we'll have Rashford on the right side, take out Martial, put in Greenwood, and then actually on the left, I honestly think that Pogba is probably the best choice. As an attacking, doesn't have the defensive responsibilities, he can play that role. There's no Martial because he's suspended from the red card. So that is the 11 I would pick. Now, you may not be able to see this, but it's interesting to see what would your 11 be, Deco.
Yeah, I looked at it earlier. It's similar to yours for the most part, but I think I've got a couple of differences. So I've got obviously De Gea in goal. I had it as Shaw, Maguire, Tuanzebe, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
In a back four.
Yeah. And then I went for Fred, McTominay, Bruno, and I was hoping he'd start Van de Beek.
So, what's the midfield?
Fred.
Yeah.
McTominay.
Yeah.
Bruno.
In front of them, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Van de Beek.
Okay.
And then Rashford and Greenwood up front.
Okay, and what kind of formation is that? Is that a diamond formation?
Yeah.
Right, so McTominay sitting at the back with Fred and Van der Beek left and right of McTominay, and Fernandes sitting in front of them.
Sitting in front, yeah.
And then a front two of Greenwood and Rashford.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that done then, the thing that I really look at is the bench we have with what you've picked there.
Yeah.
Is phenomenal. We've got Tellez on the bench, who, by the way, if you've watched the PSG game, played left full back, he can actually cross a ball. The corners we took were quite good. His crosses from open play, I think he had more crosses in open play from that match than Shaw would have had all season, if not all last season, right? Because one of Shaw's really weak points is receiving the ball and just simply crossing it. He just doesn't do it. It's very weird. But you've got Pogba on the bench, Tellez on the bench, Mata on the bench, Cavani on the bench, you know, and Matic is on the bench, and Gallo. I mean, that's a really, really strong fucking bench. Like, that is awesome if we need to bring them on.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, this is a completely different formation and lineup to what I picked.
Yeah.
So you've brought Van der Beek in, you've kept Pogba off. I'll be interested to know. So anybody watching on the channel, if you're watching live, if you're watching later on, just comment below. I've got a good friend, Simon King. Can I ask what United fans think about being 15th position after 4 games? Well, Simon, I think with a game in hand, once we win that and beat Chelsea, we're actually going to be in joint 4th or joint 5th on 9 points. So it's kind of irrelevant after 4 games. We're only I think 6 points behind the top 4 with a game in hand. So we'll be right up there. But beyond that, guys, if you are watching live, I'd love to know what you think about the lineup and the formations, and which one you think we should go with for today's game. Now, just let me bring Deco back in as we discuss a few other points. So, Deco, just...
Yeah, I mean, being in 15th after 4 games, it's not great, but like you say, there's a lot that can happen. But look at today, like, City's just thrown away a couple of points, haven't they? So, if we can win today, take a few points, like, they're down to 12th place now, so after 5 games. So if we can get a couple of points now, move up a little bit, get up ahead of them by a point.
Yeah, are you looking at the league table by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, is 5th place on 9 points?
10 points.
10 points.
6th place is 9.
Right, so 5th place on 10 points. We've got 6 points.
Oh,
we
that's
win.
after 6 games. Oh, sorry, that's after like they're in the 6th game now, aren't they?
That's correct. We have a game in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're on 4 games, so we beat Chelsea. We're on 9 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have our game in hand, our 6th game against, I think it's Burnley or somebody. We win that, we're on 12 points.
Yeah.
You know, so effectively we will be, you know, I'd say 4th or 5th by the time we play that game in hand, providing we win. Of course, we could lose both the game in hand and we could lose, but being 15th is irrelevant. What you look at is how far are you behind the top 4, or even, you know, the leaders in the league, who you know also dropped points recently. So
yeah, there's not a massive amount of point difference, and like the teams that are up top, bar Liverpool, like you've got like Leeds and Villa and Everton, I guess, like that. Later on in some games, they probably will start dropping points, thrown away here and there. So unless they have just an amazing league like Leicester did a while back.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Exactly. So I don't think the 15 points margin matters too much. But thanks, King a Ding Dong. Appreciate the comment. So just going into it, before we look at the predictions, there's been some shocking results. So I'm not sure if you were watching the Spurs game, Deco.
No. Which one?
6-1 defeat.
No.
That we lost.
Oh, was it? Wasn't it? No, I didn't get to watch all of that one. I just kind of was catching the score here and there.
I mean, I was over in as you know, I was over in Costa Keezy. It was on my holidays. It was the first day of my holidays, the first night. And you think being in a bar on holidays, you know, in Lanzarote, you know, you're watching United play. You're in probably one of the best environments. It's you would think there's nothing to not enjoy about that scenario. And
yeah, especially when you go up a goal early as well, didn't you? So.
Yeah, I mean, I was in my mum and dad's house and we scored that goal and I'm like, Mom, we have to get to the pub. We have to get to the pub. So we walked to the pub, we got a taxi to the pub. It takes about 3 minutes. I get to the pub, we're 2-1 down and Martial's getting sent off. I was devastated. I have to say, I was so annoyed. I was so devastated. It was one of the worst moments because I knew we weren't going to come back. Then they got another goal really quickly. Then they got penalty. I was just like, this is just awful. And then eventually it's 6-1 and I'm fuming. I'm drunk. I'm aggro. I mean, I was so upset. And then I had
threats on the referee.
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, we can talk about the referee very briefly. That decision was shocking, right? Because the ref has to either look at that. Your man's throwing an elbow, and then Martial retaliates with a little flick. He doesn't even hit him. So the fact that he's gone down, I'd nearly send him off for diving. But you look at that, and what you have to do is you either give them both nothing and a talking to, or you give them both a yellow for their theatrics and messing around, or you give them both a red. One for throwing an elbow. I'll do it that way. There you go. One for throwing an elbow, and the other one then for retaliating with a flick at the face.
You should have looked back over the whole incident. Maybe book both of them and give them a bit of a talking to.
Oh, that's what I'd have done. But if you're gonna send off one, had to send off the other one. And I'm not nearly enough United players were complaining about that. I was really annoyed, really devastated. Watching that match. And then I had Liverpool fans just, bantering on the WhatsApp groups and Facebook. And the thing was, it lasted about half an hour. Because then Liverpool went on to get smashed 7-2. And the funny thing was, we had 10 men for the whole game. Pretty much. Liverpool, on the other hand, had 11 men and still conceded 7. So all WhatsApp groups went quiet. All banter was halted. It was nearly like a ceasefire on both sides.
Yeah. I think if we had 11 men, we still would have lost by quite a bit, I'd say. We just weren't having a good game at all. But
there was mistakes.
That afternoon was when I kept checking on the Liverpool score, and I was like, I'm actually going to watch this match. When I saw some of the scores, I'm going to put it on. This looks like it could go really bad. And I just watched goal after goal.
We were at the table. We were at the table after the United match, and I wasn't even listening. I was that angry. But apparently my dad and my mum and a few of our friends who were watching it, they were saying, "Oh, what do you think the score will be? What do you think the score will be?" And Sinead said, my wife said 7-1 Villa. And I was like, and I only found this out the next day, and I was like, how the hell could you? She knows nothing about football, but I was like, how the hell could you pick that? You're nearly right, which is about 5,000 to 1. If I put a bet on that, I probably could have cashed out for a few grand, long before it became 7-2.
Yeah.
Oh, that was shocking, but that Liverpool result was one of many shocking results that's happened. And I'm going to go into the next section with you, Decker. We're going to do the predictions of this weekend. But I just want to go over very quickly, which is some of the shock results that happened. Spurs at the weekend after we beat Newcastle 4-1. It was 1-1 up until the last 8 minutes, and then we banged 3 in brilliantly. Great performance all round. Really dictated the game. Spurs the next day went 3-0 up. And then Bale comes on. Okay, so this is like the talisman, the big signing that they have over the summer. Player I think is still phenomenal. But he comes on, and through no fault of his own, West Ham then score 3 goals in 8 minutes to level it up.
Yeah.
Like, that is one of the shocks of the season.
It is. I mean, this was right after Bale missed not an easy chance, but a one-on-one.
No. Was that the one where he beat 2 or 3 players and he went on with the keeper and he put it wide?
Yeah, he got ball past him. He did like a little.
That's an easy chance.
He just scuffed it wide.
Yeah, but that's an easy chance because he done the hard work. He should have just rolled the ball into the net at that stage.
Yeah.
And then other shocking,
because they conceded the goal and then they got an own goal, which is just really unlucky. And then Lanzini's goal was just unbelievable. Yeah,
and I mean that luck comes. I was watching the Newcastle game, right, and that Newcastle game happened after the 6-1 defeat, and the first 5 minutes we conceded an own goal from a deflection off Shaw. Yeah. And I was just like, the blood just started to boil straight away. I couldn't enjoy it. I was like, how is? And then eventually it came good. But I mean that luck happens when you watch then other games, right? Everton getting a draw with Liverpool was now don't get me wrong. Based on previous years, Everton getting a draw against Liverpool is just phenomenal. But on recent standings, Liverpool conceded 3 against Leeds. Liverpool conceded 7 against Aston Villa. And then they go into the Everton game against an Everton team who were top of the league. And I think undefeated at that stage.
Yeah.
And then Van Dijk gets injured, ACL injury. He's out for the majority of the season, if not all of the season.
Yeah.
So it's just a massive boost to Everton's chances in that game when he leaves the pitch. And then straight away from a corner, there's a headed goal, which I don't think they would have got had Van Dijk still been on the pitch.
No.
So, again, maybe not as big a shock result, Liverpool-Everton, as Spurs and West Ham was. But it's still a shocking result. You couple that with City drawing today against West Ham. Chelsea have had 2 3-3 draws.
Yeah.
Like, their defence is weak. And that takes us to today's game. The big thing we need to do is, we will concede. I actually got a free bet, and I put a bet on United 3-1. Get back like 170 quid for a free fiver, so we'll see how that goes. But Chelsea will score. But the weakness they have is their defence. Our defence is also weak, but with Tunzabi playing his first game in 10 months and looking unbelievably good against Neymar and Mbappe, he should be able to do a really good job. And I think we need his strength and speed to complement Maguire's kind of nuances and passing and control.
Yeah.
But we need to go at Chelsea and get 2 or 3 goals if we're going to win this game, because I do think we'll concede.
I'd like us to get at least one early goal, just try and settle us a bit, because I just noticed that like sometimes we start off and if nothing happens for a while, we look a bit kind of rocky sometimes, and if we obviously the Spurs game is nothing to go by, but if we get an early goal, it could just kind of settle it a little bit.
Yeah, no, we do. We start slow. We tend to start very slow, and it's something that we need to look at. I'm going to just take you off for a moment because what I want to look at is, again, the predictions. When we go to... our lineups, our predictions. You'll be able to see it there in a moment, Deco. But bear with me. Now, there we go. So, okay, there we go, guys. So, again, these are little things that we're going to try and get tidied up for future episodes. But these are the teams we have. I'm going to just mute Deco for a moment.
Yeah, speak for a second.
Okay, so I can't actually mute Deco. There we go. Now, these are the fixtures that we have that we're going to do. Just who we think will win, home, away, or draw, and we'll go with a score prediction for the Chelsea United game, and with that, then we will look at Deco's predictions also. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Deco back in.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Deco, if you look at today's results, right? First, we've got Fulham Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at that result, I think that would be an away win.
Yeah, I can't see Fulham coming back now in the last 15 minutes.
Okay, so... Oh, well, I don't know what the scores are of these games. Actually, these games are already underway.
The Fulham is...
Okay, don't tell me anything, right? I don't know any scores right now, right? So I'm just going to do... I'll do my predictions, okay? So I'm going to go with Crystal Palace away. I'm going to go with Liverpool home win. I'll go with an Everton away win. I'm going to look at a Wolves home win. An Arsenal draw v Leicester. Brighton West Brom draw. And a Spurs away win. Okay, so the Fulham Crystal Palace game is the only one that's underway. So what is the score in that game?
2-0 Palace.
Okay, so we're going to get that right. Deco, I'm going to do yours after that. So Liverpool home to Sheffield United. What do you think?
I think 2-0.
Well, I'm just going to do a home win. So you think a home win? Yeah. And then Southampton at home to Everton.
Yeah, I'm going to Everton away win.
Everton away win. And Wolves home to Newcastle. What do you think?
I think Wolves might take it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Wolves as a home win as well. A brilliant side. Newcastle probably reeling from the 4-1 win that we had against them. What do you think for Arsenal Leicester now? This is a possibility of like a top 4 dogfight in the next few months to come. Where do you think that match will go?
I think like you, I think I'm swaying towards a draw. It could be a Leicester win because they can be really good.
We're going to go with Leicester for you so you don't have all my picks, you copycat.
Yeah, okay. Go for Leicester win.
Alright, Brighton at home to West Brom. What do we think?
I'm not sure. I'd go for a draw on that one again.
Right. So this is just like, copying John's homework here. Burnley at home to Spurs. What are we thinking?
Only because you've gone first.
What are we thinking?
Spurs.
Spurs away win, right. So no difference there, okay, except for Leicester, which you really reluctantly took, to be honest.
I know, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the big one, right? Man United Chelsea, right? I always do a score one on this, and as I did with my free bet, I'm going to go 3-1 United. What do you think? And not what do you want to happen? Not like I want 7-0 United. Do you think it'll be a 1-1 draw, 0-0? What do you think?
I think 2-1 United.
2-1 United. So you're
win, but not too optimistic that we'll smash.
Right, you're being as optimistic as me, so fair enough. Now look, I've got that. I'm going to take a screenshot of that later. I'm just going to move this screen across for anybody who wants to see. I mean, they can hear you, but just to look at the results that Deco has picked. There they are. I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and we'll see who is right. And the only differences will be Leicester and the scoreline in the Chelsea game. If I'm wrong on everything, then Deco will also be wrong on everything. Yeah, that was good fun within that. Just going to bring Deco back into the fold. Deco, normal episodes I want to do on the Red Devils United channel is like 15-minute episodes for the matches. I'm going to do pre-match as we're doing today, and then I'm going to do post-match, and I'm going to try and do all of them live. I think it's just easier. I mean, yes, you have these niggling technical issues where buttons aren't working or the things aren't correct sizes, and with you on this call, I didn't have a format that could have you here talking and have my images appearing, so I'm going to be able to get over that. So I'm going to do pre-games, post-games, but today's talks, the first one we've had you on, we're at 31 minutes, and I'm going to actually let it play out to discuss other things within the game. So in this Chelsea game, what's your biggest fear? Actually, you know what? We're going to do something. We're going to do something here. Before you do that, we're going to go with our top 7. And we're going to talk about our top 7. The numbers will be for the things we're going to fear and the things we really want to see happen, okay? So, numero uno, okay? Bear with me.
Yeah.
1 second now. Okay, coming across the same issues I had a minute ago. So, one moment. Okay. We'll have to figure that out later.
Yeah.
I'll keep you on. So tell me, Deco, what's the biggest fear of today's game?
I guess we're just I think we've both been sent a message of what the starting lineup looks like it's going to be, what you've seen as well. I think just that, like the back 4 is a bit different to what I wanted. You've got Lindelof in instead of Tuanzebe. So
well, give me a second there. Are you saying the starting lineup's actually being announced?
No, we got a message from somebody who's just, I think it is an announcement of like Cavani being part of the substitutes, and then.
Oh yes, this is a. Okay. Yeah, I don't see that. Okay, let me just check. Not check Sky, but you go on. What you were saying?
Yeah, I guess the worry is just the defense. I'm just hoping they're going to be as strong as they can be. I think our biggest fear is that if we just don't pass well, or if we just have a few cracks here and there, like Chelsea can take advantage, and then we're just going to concede early. So I'm just hoping we don't kind of mess up at the back too early on.
Okay, so we have team news. Okay, the Chelsea team to play United, Mendy in goal, so he takes over from Kappa in goal. They've got James, Silva, Zuma, Aspilicueta, I keep pronouncing his name, and Chilwell. Okay, now I'm not too familiar with Chelsea's players position by position, but it nearly looks like a back 5. I may be wrong. Then you got Pulisic, Kante, Jorginho, and Havertz, which makes it a back 5 and a 4-man midfield with very little width. Pulisic and Havertz can give some width, and then Werner up top on his own. So it's a very, I'm not going to say defensive team because they've got a good midfield in there, but with Jorginho and Kante, 2 very defensive and brilliant midfielders. The creativity looks like it's going to come from Pulisic, Havertz, and Werner, the top 3. Let's see how we did with our predictions on the team. You ready?
Yeah.
So, the Man United team to play Chelsea is the Hayes in goals. Okay, you're both right.
Yeah.
Whew, so we're not idiots. But Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and Shaw. So it's a back 4, and it's the exact back 4 you predicted.
No, I picked Tuanzebe.
Oh, you did pick Tuanzebe, which I would have put on as well instead of Lindelof. So I mean,
I think you'll see how it goes.
Yes, but
they've got him as an option, don't they? So
yeah, and this is really tough to take, because you can't play as well as Tuanzebe did against PSG with Neymar and Mbappe, 2 of the best attacking players in probably world football, or up there at least in the top 10, and then be benched for Lindelof, who, granted, he also had a good game, but in the league, our defence has been leaking goals. And Tuanzebe is the exact kind of player we need back there. So, yes, they may be protecting him after 10 months out. But I really wanted to see him there. Like you, I wanted to see it in a back five, you a back four. But you got your formation. Now, you've got McTominay and Fred, which I put on the midfield with Fernandes. But then you've got Mata, Rashford and James. Now, I have a big problem with that because Mata has been great form recently. He's done really well, but he's quite slow. Now, you're going to ask him to kind of track back a bit. You've got James, who's very fast, but he's like a headless chicken. He has no footballing brain. They're obviously hoping to counter Chelsea on the break, use James and Rashford's speed. It'll nearly be a front two of James and Rashford, I imagine, but it won't be. But I've got doubts about that front three, Mata, James and Rashford. Now, we've got Pogba on the bench, Greenwood's on the bench, Cavani's on the bench, and Van der Beek's on the bench. Now, that is an unbelievable bench.
Yeah.
So we can change it.
Just see, but who are you going to bring on between... So, because you're looking at Tuanzebe, bloody Van der Beek...
Well, Tuanzebe doesn't come on, for me. He doesn't come on. I mean, you don't... If you go 2 or 3 down and it's all Lindelof's fault, yeah, you bring on Tuanzebe. If you go 2 or 3-0 down and it's all Maguire's fault, every single goal, you bring on Tuanzebe. But if you're not losing, or if the goal is something that can't be helped, it's a wonder strike, you can't bring on a centre half. You never do that. So he's not coming on. So for me, James will come off for Pogba about 60 minutes. I think Mata will come off for Cavani with a front two of Rashford and Cavani. And I think Van der Beek will come on for probably either Rashford or Fred later in the game, depending on how the game is going. He's probably going to bring on Tuanzebe if we go 1 or 2 up and play with a back five.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can see Tuanzebe coming on. One thing also that's noticeable is that Tellez, our new wing-back that was bought from Porto, is not even in the squad.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one as well. And we'll have to see if there's any reasons behind that. Did he pick up a little knock in training? But for me, that's a very counter-attacking team with Rashford and James, but it does leave us with an awful lot on the bench with Pogba, Cavani, Greenwood and Van der Beek. Any of those 4 players come on, it could really change the formation and the game we play.
Yeah. I know a bit of a... Because if Matt is playing on... Would he play on the right?
He will. Yeah, I think Matt will play on the right and James will play on the left side.
Yeah. So if they're breaking down their left, like we're gonna maybe struggle across Mata and maybe Lindelof if they're iffy. Like there's gonna be a bit of a struggle there because, like I said, Tuanzebe and Aaron Wan-Bissaka really teamed up well, you know, and like Tuanzebe covered him in that game against PSG a couple of times, and they partnered really well. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
That's the thing, like, and if he's on the bench, you have to predict that he's fit, and if he's fit, you wonder why he's not starting. I mean, I would absolutely start him over Lindelof. The both of them played, but he was the better player. Like, I mean, some of the tracking back he did, the covering of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and in a foot race, going in a foot race toe to toe with Mbappe a couple of times and coming out on top. Unbelievably impressive.
The ball and then just taking the touch to keep the ball in control. Like it was really good.
Yeah. No, so I'm I don't know, lack of a better word, I'm disappointed with the lineup. I'm just because it's James and Mata, when you've got players like Pogba who could easily play that top left position, because some of the things Pogba can do is he just walks past players, he can just dribble past players and create space, and he has a great final pass, and he can come inside and have a shot, or he can just work with Fernandes really well. And that's all things that James simply can't do. James will get the ball and he'll try and run into any space, and if there's no space, he'll be completely nullified.
Yeah.
In an hour's time, James has a hat-trick.
I won't be disappointed with being wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm wrong all the bloody time. We have to wait and see how it goes, but that is currently the lineup, and how I hopefully see it changing in the second half. Like I said, we can take James and Mata off, put on Cavani and Pogba, or Cavani and Van der Beek. We are able to, we're able to bring Tunzabi on as well and play a back five like we did against PSG. So there's multiple scenarios of formations and lineups that we can throw in there as the game progresses. So we'll wait and see. What do you want to see most from the game?
I keep repeating myself, but I just want to see some really good passing. I want to see like proper ball to feet and then control and like looking up and just seeing like who's about and getting the pass away. Not like snappy little rush passing and like losing it and it going astray. I just want to see like a nice kind of controlled, confident team. Well together.
I had to say, like, that's what I want as well. Like, you want a good performance, but some of the things that drive me crazy while we've been playing in games is quite simply a player getting the ball and doing what in tennis is called an unforced error. And it's like, you're not being pressured, you're not being tackled, no one's won the ball off you, you've simply given it away because you're either doing a no-look pass or you're hurrying yourself because you're nervous and you keep giving it, like Rashford against PSG gave the ball away so many times unnecessarily, completely unforced. So I want like you, I want to see the opposite to that.
Yeah, like I want to have a good De Gea like he was against Newcastle and PSG. Like some of the saves he pulled off were great. There's been other games where he's been a bit poor, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen today. And yeah, just no unforced errors.
That's it. Yeah. No, in fairness, now De Gea against Newcastle was brilliant, and against PSG he was really fantastic. He pulled off a couple of brilliant saves before we got that second goal. So his form, he's really, really stepping it up since Henderson arrived back at the club, and there's real competition for places there now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Well, look, the game is about to. Turn the audio off for some reason, but the game is about to kick off. So we will leave it there. We'll go watch a bit of the build up, and what we'll do is I'll be jumping on for a post game video to see, and hopefully in a good mood. But we'll do a post game video and see how things go. So. Please like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and join us and help us build a good community where we can talk about football, have banter, and just enjoy the season. Deco, look, thanks for joining me again. Really, really appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you during and after the game, and have a good time. All right?
Yeah, you too.
Cheers. Bye.
This shirt belongs to you. Always has, always will.
Chevrolet, proud supporter of Manchester United.